Hello everyone, I'm Akriti Dave from New Age Institute of Engineering and Technology. We will be discussing about the subject Indian Constitution, which is offered in third semester in GTU. So basically, this subject is having the subject code 3130007, and it is one mandatory course. So let us see the introduction about this. So basically, the content of this video is about evaluation scheme and the syllabus of this subject. In the evaluation scheme, we can see in the GTU, the subject is offered as a mandatory course. Basically, there are no prerequisites or the rationals because this is one kind of a subject which is very much necessary for you to understand as one Indian citizen. So that is how the subject is having its importance. So in teaching and examination scheme, we can analyze it over here. The lesson plannings are showing that 2 hours are allotted for the teaching scheme per week. Basically, the credits are not given to the subject, it is zero. But one thing you have to keep in mind that no doubt the credits are zero, but it is having the end semester examination of 50 marks. Here you can see in the theory marks, the examination marks are 50. So in GTU, you will be having this end semester examination of 50 marks, and that's why the total marks for this subject is 50. So what is the importance of credits here? Basically, zero credit subject means whatever result you score in this one, that is out of 50, whatever marks you actually achieve, that will not add up in your final semester examination result along with the other subjects. But there are some minimum cutoff marks which you actually require to pass this subject. If you fail in this subject, then that will add up as a backlog in your curriculum. So basically, if you are failing in this subject and you are not passing this subject, so you will fail for your end semester examination that will add as a backlog here. If you are passing with good marks, that is like it is very much important for a qualifying subject. So no doubt it is having zero credit. Whatever result you are getting, that is not adding up into your final result. But if you are failing the subject, definitely it adds as a backlog. So you have to prepare this subject well so that you can score well in this out of 50. Minimum passing criteria are also defined in the GTU. So time to time it gets changed also. So you have to focus on achieving good marks out of 50. So basically, at least you have to score minimum 50% of out of this. So that is like at least you must be scoring more than 25 marks for this subject. Then only you will be able to pass the subject. If you are not passing the subject, definitely it will get added up as a backlog in your result. So that is how this mandatory course structure is there. Now let us see about the syllabus of this. So you can see there are units mentioned over here and topics mentioned in the syllabus. Basically, Indian Constitution will be having all the topics for the basic fundamental constitution, how it is prepared, how much importance it is having, citizens can have which kind of rules, regulations, laws, how they will achieve all these things being an Indian citizen that you will see in this subject. So let us see the unit outlines in this. Basically, 15 units are there. First one is starting with this, that is meaning of the constitution, law and constitutionalism. So here you will go with the definition and the fundamentals, what is actually the constitution and why it is important. Second unit is about history of Indian constitution because as we already know, in the time of British rule, no constitution was drafted for India specifically. But if we talk about the later on period, after that, special drafting committee was there, constitution came into the picture, and how it actually gets so many amendments and everything that will be covered in this unit. So first is about just basic definitions. Second is about how it is actually achieved in India. So that's about the history of Indian constitution. Third unit will be about the salient features and characteristics of the Constitution of India because Constitution actually varies with country to country and their interpretations. So India is also having specific rules, regulations, and their fundamental constitution. So they are having the features and characteristics which are interpreted and articulated very well in the legal terms. So we will go with that also. Fourth one is about the fundamental rights. Being an Indian citizen, how many fundamental rights you are having, which kind of law protection can be there for your fundamental rights, the legal remedies, everything will be covered in this. Unit 5 is about right to equality under the Article 14. Then right to certain freedom under Article 19 will be covered in Unit 6. So they are the part of the fundamental rights and how they are drafted and which impositions they are having, everything will be covered in this. Unit 7 is about scope of the right to life as well as the personal liberty under the Article 21. Time to time also some kinds of article can be changed, amended, okay, but that is how they are in their basic nature. Unit 8 is about fundamental duties and its legal status because along with the fundamental rights, we are having some of the duties also. In Unit 9, it's all about directive principles of the state policy and what its importance is and what its implementation, that also will be covered here. In Unit 10, it's all about federal structure and distribution of legislative as well as the financial powers, which are actually separated between the union and the state, because ultimately we know that in India also the government is divided in categories. Okay, hierarchy is there, that is about union, state, as well as local governments and all. So that power separation will be covered in Unit 10. In Unit 11, we will go through the parliamentary form of government in India, as well as the constitution powers and status of President of India. Because in different countries, there are two kinds of hierarchies. In one, Prime Minister is very much important. In one, President is very much important. Actually, all the positions are important, but which powers are overruling, which powers are actually having the authorities, that varies country to country. So we will see about the President of India's powers and status. Next chapter is about the powers and procedure for the amendments in Indian Constitution, because all the times, whenever in the history you have seen that Constitution is first of all drafted and some of the changes are required later on also. So all the things come under the amendment, and that is how what are the procedures and powers of amendment will be covered in Unit 12. Unit 30 is about history of amendments in Indian Constitution. So, which are the amendments? Actually, a lot of amendments have gone through since the Constitution was there in India. The first time the Constitution was imposed in India. So, we can see that also. In Unit 40, it's all about emergency provisions. That's about national emergency, presidential rule, as well as financial emergency. These three kinds of emergency will be discussed. And last unit is about local self-government, in which constitutional schemes in India will be covered for the local self-government, like Panchayat rule and everything. So that will be covered in Unit 15. So that is how the basic outline of the Indian Constitution subject is explained in your GTU syllabus. Next one is this about reference books, which is mentioned on GTU website for this. So in this subject, 3130007 Indian Constitution, you can see the reference books are this Dr. Jane Pandey's book about Constitutional Law of India. This one is very much important. Introduction to the Constitution of India by Durgadas Basu. He has written it in well comprehend method, so you can just go through that. It's very much detailed and in-depth, and very a lot of like content is covered in this one. Third one is about Indian constitutional law, that is by author MP Jain. So that one is also a good one. Fourth one is about V.N. Shukla's Constitution of India by Mahendra Pal Singh, and it is by Eastern Book Company. Fifth one is Constitutional Law 1, that is Structure by Uday Raj Rai, Eastern Book Company. So among this, you can just go with any of them. And this one is, I guess, quite lengthy and bulky one by Durgadas Basu, because it is even utilized by all the competitive examination for the government also. So you can go with any one of that, and they are having the in-depth knowledge of the Indian Constitution. We can also go through the exam paper, how this exam is taken actually. As we have already seen in the examination scheme, it is about 50 marks. So how this 50 marks are distributed, that we can see. This is the paper of 8th March 2021. So you can see the most recent one paper which we can go through for the Indian Constitution. Subject code is mentioned over here. So you can see the pattern. They have already written that attempt any 5 questions out of 8 questions. So basically the questions would be like this. They are having A and B part both. So you can see this question 1, 2, 3 is mentioned here, 4 is also there, and 5 to 8. So you just have to go through 5 questions from this. And the second one is that they are having 5 marks each. So you can see if you have to attempt any 5 out of this. So basically each question would be of 10 marks. So total paper is about 80 marks, but you have to attempt any 5. So you will go through the 50 marks out of this. So that's how you can attempt the question. And you can see all the 15 units will be covered in this one. It is starting with the Indian Constitution and provisions and different questions can be there. You can see over here also. So that is how the recent examination pattern about Indian Constitution, and it is very mandatory to clear this subject, because if you do not clear this, no doubt zero credit is there, but that will count as a backlog. So that is how the mandatory course structure is there, and it's all about the Indian Constitution subject introduction. So thank you so much, and we will go through all the chapters one by one in the detail, starting towards the next session. Okay, thank you so much.